Hello everyone, Justin Thinney, MD Tano here, the internet's laziest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Yvng Swiss EP, The Experiment. This is the debut EP from producer, songwriter, and vocalist Yvng Swiss, aka Jesus Christ on YouTube, one of the most polarizing, controversial, and irrelevant artists in the musical industry today. Receiving minor viral status with consecutive bangers with his covers of the songs like Africa by Toto and Country Roads by legendary country artist John Denver. This is his debut EP, and if I had to sum it up in one word, it would be potential. Sonically, throughout the EP, the production is consistently bearable, even reaching enjoyable on the ears at some points. But still, where this EP tends to fall short is in the vocal performance of Yvng Swiss. This is shown most prominently in the track Never Enough, which most certainly has the most jarring production and worst vocals on the EP. It deals with the ideas that sort of are overarching throughout the EP of depression and this idea of not being able to find a way out of a hole that you sort of dug yourself into. But it's largely overshadowed with almost robotic vocals at points, the worst of which coming near the end of the track with the lyrics, "I've had some good times, but mostly bad ones." Like, a robot literally could have said that. If you would have read that to Siri, it would have read it back in almost the same voice that Yvng Swiss delivers with on the track Never Enough. The opening track of the EP is the title track, The Experiment, and this track, Yvng Swiss sort of lays out the groundwork for the whole EP, both in the production and the lyrical content. But other than that, it doesn't really have much replay value. The lyrics are mainly surface level, and the production is good, but unless you really like sort of EDM build-up and drops, almost dubstep at points, and the amount of production that goes into the drops, there's not really much replay value here. The third track of the EP, and for me personally, the track with the best vocal performance from Yvng Swiss, is Crying on the Bathroom Floor. In this track, there's some decent vocal layering and the use of the most natural vocal register that you hear from Yvng Swiss on the EP, as he goes the most in depth to this idea of not being able to make it out of this hole that he dug for himself. You can really feel his pain here more than in any other track, and I think that is highlighted and emphasized in the fact that Yvng Swiss sort of goes out of his unnatural register and more into his natural speaking voice throughout the track. The closing track of the EP, Fall Asleep, easily has the most replay value, with amazing features from both Sinking Home and Ainski. The feature from Sinking Home especially, I wish was longer than what it was. It leaves the listener wanting more, which isn't always a bad thing, but for a track with a runtime of nearly 5.5 minutes, you really feel there could have been space for more from Sinking Home here. The track overall has some of the best EDM production and some of the best vocal cuts and effects on the EP from Yvng Swiss himself. The song doesn't go as in depth as Crying on the Bathroom Floor does, but it still covers the topics that are overarched throughout the EP pretty effectively, and Ainski delivers one of his best performances on the track, with the beat switch that seems to be incorporated for Ainski really helping keep the attention of the listener of the 5.5 minute runtime of the track. The song culminates with the vocals of Yvng Swiss getting more messy but more passionate as he's pouring out his emotions and really getting to the bottom of the depression that seems to haunt him throughout the EP. In this track, it really seems like Yvng Swiss is trying to deliver the best of what he can on all fronts. And to an extent, I think he does that. So, good job. Overall, the EP shows the potential that Yvng Swiss has mainly as a producer and a writer, but it also leaves a lot to be desired in the vocals, as even though these were definitely some of the best vocals from Yvng Swiss, there's a lot to be desired. They were decent at best and almost unlistenable at worst, but I'm still looking forward to see what Yvng Swiss is going to do next, and I hope to see some improvement and diversification in his production, as I know he has more in his locker than the dubstep, EDM, and dance that he seems to try to deliver in the production of this EP, and I hopefully And what I'm looking for the most in his next project is an artist that's found his vocal space more, where it sounds less forced and the delivery sounds more natural. I'm feeling a decent to strong 3 on this EP. Transition. Have you given this EP a listen? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Have a nice day. Justin MD, Yvng Swiss, The Experiment, forever.